Hello, in this video I'll be explaining how I was able to use Microsoft SQL to analyze a database that was presented to me by Quantum Analytics. The database was provided by Quantum Analytics, and then we'll be using Microsoft SQL to analyze the data provided in the database. And then just diving into the question. First thing we want to do is to activate our database. Over here I'm going to be using the query use AdventureWorks 2019, and then once we execute that, we can see that it will be completed. So command completed successfully, and then we can start using database AdventureWorks 2019. So the first question goes thus. It says, how many people in the database do not have a middle name? Show the query. And then the query procedure. It's always good to always have a procedure before you get to your final conclusion. Some of the queries are quite easy and can easily just come about just writing the full query as it's supposed to be, but it's always good to have a starting point and then you build towards the final answer that you want to get. So for this particular question, the first thing we want to do is to get the table that is of people, the first name, the last name, the middle name, and then we can use that to now determine, okay, how many people do not have middle names. So, and then the table we'll be referencing will be the person table. So if you go into that, we can see select all columns from person. By the time we execute that, we can see exactly what we're looking for. That's we can see the table presented here now, and then we can see all the columns available in the table. It's the first name, the middle name, and then the last name. And then what we are more interested in is the middle name. So what we want to do now is we're going to the next step we want to do is select the columns you need in the table. And then what I mean by this is so you don't have too many information jumping and then shouting at you. You want to just take out the columns that you need for your analysis. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select just the first name, the middle name, and the last name from the table. And then once we run that query as well, we can see it has selected that's just the information that we need. So the next thing we want to do now is select only the rows that have middle name as null values. And then the reason we are using the ones that have null values, that means those are the ones that do not have any information in their middle name section. So what we are going to do now is just continue to add to the query that we already have before, which is select first name, middle name, last name from person, and then where the middle name is null. So by the time we pick this and then we execute it, we can easily see now it's only providing the information of the names that have only their middle names as null values. And if we go and check the number of rows we have, we can see we have just 8499 rows. From the previous one showing the total number of rows, if we check that, we can see it's 19,972 rows. So and then this has been reduced to 8,000 rows already. So we know that, okay, it's only showing us the information of people without middle name. Then to round up the query, because the question says how many people in the database do not have middle name, so we want to give a particular number, and the number we are looking for is the total number of rows for the people without middle names. And that can be we can get that coming out in the numeric form by using this query here, showing select count, that's counting the total number of rows as number of people without middle name from the person table where the middle name is null. So by the time we run this alias here will be the name of the table, and then giving us the total number of people, number of rows where the people do not have middle names. So once we execute this, we can see number of people without middle name 8499, which is what we are trying to get. That's the first one. So for the second analysis, it says how many email addresses do not end in AdventureWorks? Show the query. Once again, I start from the table that you do need for the analysis. And then for this particular one, the table that we need is the person.email address. And it's always good to know you might need to look through a number of tables before you know exactly what you want or exactly which table you are going to be using. So it's always good to probably check a few tables before then deciding, okay, this is the table I do need. So but for this one, since we've already I've already been able to go through all the tables, I can easily say that, okay, this is the table that I need, or that contains the email address of people, of the contacts in the database. So select all the columns in the table, and then we can see, yes, the business entity ID, email address ID, the email address, the role guide, the modified dates. And then with this also, we're now going to go into the next step to select the columns that you need. So you just pick the columns that you need to work with. We just want to work with the email address column, so select email address from the person.email address, and then it's just giving us the email address column. Now we want to now select the rows that have emails not ending in AdventureWorks.com. So what we're going to do is select email address from person.email address, then where the email address not like the percentage sign and then AdventureWorks.com. So this means that anything that does not have AdventureWorks.com at the end, it should bring it out. So by the time we do this and then we execute, we realize that it's showing 0. It's not giving us any option. So that we know that all the email address end with AdventureWorks.com. That's what this is telling us. So, and then the question says how many email addresses do not end in the AdventureWorks. So it wants us to bring up the number, and then what we are going to do now is count the number of email addresses that do not end in AdventureWorks.com. And what we are going to do is select count asterisk as number of unique email addresses. Now you'll notice that the alias I used here has underscore, while the one I used here has space. So it's just showing the different ways you can use aliases in SQL. And then from the person.email address, where email address not like this, the information that we've already put there. And then by the time we run the query, we can see that number of unique email address 0, which is exactly what we want to get. So there's still a few more questions that we're still going to run through, but I just wanted to share this first two with you. Let me know if you have any comments or questions. Bye bye.